But how you have BO and you doing all this shit. And on top of that, when you cough, your breath stank. Like, bro, I swear to God. Speaking of flying, airlines, okay, as we have said, British Airways, you know what? You know what? Let's clap it up for British Airways. You know what I'm saying? Let's clap. Aside from the fact that y'all charged me $2K for an economy ticket, even though the flight was 10 hours, so like low-key, they're kind of that expensive anyways. At least my wasn't delayed. It wasn't delayed. It didn't get canceled 4 times. I didn't have to change gates 83 times like I did in Canada. My beef with this airline was not the airline itself. It was this passenger I had to sit next to. So imagine, okay, you're me, all right? You have arthritis at age 22, okay? That's something that like 50 to 70-year-olds develop. It hurts to sit still for like more than like 5 minutes, but you now have to sit in a confined space for 10 plus hours. On top of that, you're gonna try to sleep in said confined space so that you're not jet lagged when you get to your destination, because guess what? Bing, bing, bing. You have to shoot a reality show for 10 hours the next day, right? So I'm trying to sleep. First of all, sleeping on planes for me, borderline impossible. Sleeping in economy on planes for 10 hours on top of that, even worse, okay? But to add insult to injury, I also took my sleeping meds because when I travel internationally and there's a time difference that's like almost like half a day, I normally take my meds on the plane to coordinate with being on schedule for the location I'm about to be at. So if it's gonna be nighttime or morning when I get there, I'm gonna take my nighttime meds when I take off on the plane, right? That way I could sleep, okay? Because I have a sleeping med. My sleeping meds was not strong enough to deal with the bullshit I was sat next to. So I was sat next to this like 40 to 50-year-old man. I don't really know much about this man. All I know is he had a son. Why do I know he had a son? Because on his wallpaper, there was a picture of someone that kind of looked like him, same race, same complexion, on his phone wallpaper. And if you have like a 13-year-old as your phone wallpaper as a 50-year-old man, you're either a pedophile or a father. So I was gonna opt for the nicer option and say that he's a father, okay? Because the only other option is he's a little P Diddy. So I'm gonna be nice. Okay, he didn't try to cop a feel on me on the plane, so I'm gonna assume he's a father. All right, so I think he was a father because his kid looked like teenage age, and he didn't look like he was like old, but he didn't look like he was young either. So I was like, he's like 40, 50s. And then next to him was this other man, similar racial complexion, but I don't know if they knew each other or if they just did that that like people do where they bond over like some common interest. Okay, I know sometimes people that are like, this isn't really a white people thing, okay? Us white people, we don't really do this. But I know I've noticed other races, when they see someone of their same country of origin, tend to bond over it as like a common way to start a conversation. Me and the fellow, pasties, we don't really do that shit, okay? I don't give a fuck about you, all right? The fact that we look the same color, like, I don't care, all right? But this is something that I notice that happens. So I'm not sure if that is how they started conversing or if they already knew each other, but they were being pretty familiar on the plane. I intentionally got the aisle seat, okay? I booked ahead of time to get an aisle seat, and I did it. Big planes, they have 3 rows of seats. There's one on the far left, one in the middle, and one on the far right. And there's 2 aisles, one in between the middle and far left, and one in between the middle and far right. I took the aisle seat on the middle row with the right aisle on the right side of the plane, okay? So that way, and the reason I took the middle row of seats is because that way there's two aisles that the middle passenger could exit from, so that if I'm asleep, they don't exit on top of me, right? And also, if I need to pee, I'm not disturbing somebody, because I pee a lot, as y'all know. Okay, so I was being very calculated and strategic with my seat choice, right? And this man that I was unfortunately sat next to. Frame 1, we get on the plane. If people do this as the middle seat passenger, like, respect -10 already, okay? I already know you're gonna be a dickhead. These are the armrests. You share an armrest with the middle seat on the plane if you're on the edge, right? And they share one with the other side. Frame 1 is doing this. And not only is he arm resting, he's like pressing up against me. So his arm is going over the armrest and like touching me like this. When I sit in a plane and I don't know the person next to me, I always do this. Okay, pretend these are the armrests, right? I keep my inside of them, even if it's a little bit squished, so that I don't have to worry about it. Okay, this motherfucker did not care. And I mean, he was like, this guy's gonna be an issue. On top of that, he starts man spreading into my seat, okay? When you sit on a plane, the aisle or the armrests are like the dividers for your seat foot space, okay? On top of that, under the seats, there's even a bar separating the seats, okay? And if you're on the aisle side, your area for your feet is normally tinier. So technically you could put your foot around it and still be in your area. But I normally don't do that because it's just like not worth the hassle and the person next to you giving you the evil eye. So I just sat there in my smaller than average area, and this motherfucker decides to do this shit where he goes like this. These are bitch, I'm sorry your balls are sweaty, but mine are too, stupid. And on top of that, you in my space. And then he kept like moving. So he would like move and he'd like hit my shit. And eventually I was like tired of this shit. So I just looked at him. He didn't get it from me looking at him. So then what I did is his leg was here and I just bumped it out of my way. I did this and then he moved it, right? Okay. But then on top of that, every now and again, he would do this thing where he would adjust. And you know how when I'm on a plane, if I'm like taking off a hoodie or if I'm like adjusting something in my seat, I lean away from the person that I'm adjusting into and lean towards the aisle, or I lean away or lean forward or kind of turn so I'm not in the other person's space. This motherfucker was like WWE in my ass from the side, okay? He was like elbowing my like going over us like this. He'd be like I'm trying to sleep for one, okay? But for two, I hadn't even attempted to shut my eyes yet, okay? I was assessing the man next to me to determine, you know, so I could mentally prepare myself for the lack of sleep I was gonna get. This is before I even started trying to sleep. This was already happening. This was like the first like 10 minutes. And then sometimes he would also do this thing where he would like, when he would adjust, he would like lean over and like cough in your direction. So he'd be like, so on top of that, you trying to give me some germs? I already have arthritis and you all up in my space that's already too tiny. Okay, I'm 6 feet tall. You're like 5. My man was like 5'5" easy. Okay, this seat was already more comfortable for him than it was for me. Okay, I had a whole like 5, 6, 7 inches on this motherfucker. Okay, and on top of that, you all up in my space and now you're coughing on me. And on top of that, I ain't trying to be that guy. I ain't trying to stereotype, okay? But all I'm saying is like, he had like some BO too. So it's like, listen, I could have excused, you know, one of the 3 things, but how you have BO and you doing all this shit. And on top of that, when you cough, your breath stank. Like, bro, I swear to God, yo! Was he a big guy? The thing that pisses me off about this even more is he wasn't really a big guy, okay? He was an average size 40 or 50-year-old. So he didn't need all that room. He didn't need to elbow all up in my space. He didn't need to spread his legs out. All he needed to do was like turn his body a little bit when he was looking for a seatbelt. Turn it this way when you're looking for your seatbelt. But no, instead of turning, you wanna know what he'd do? He'd go. Like, how can you contort your arm like you some escape artist, but you couldn't turn your torso a little bit? And then on top of that, when he was trying to fall asleep, sometimes he'd like be like, and he'd like lean over like this and then kind of lean into your seat. So now I'm sat next to this motherfucker and for 10 hours, uncomfortable, and I have to try to sleep too so that I am not out of it for this audition that I'm also going to be filmed for 10 hours straight.
For troubles, man.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I'm gonna use this money if I ever have to fly international again to get a premium economy ticket or fly business class, because I'm not dealing with this shit again. I swear to God. After this happened enough, I was like, you know what? This man's feelings. I looked at him and I said, hey, could you please stop elbowing me and leaning into my seat? I want to sleep and you are making it very difficult and uncomfortable for me. That's what I said to him. And he said, huh? Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I see. 5 minutes later, I'm getting elbowed again. And I know the listen, I know the motherfucker speaks English. Okay, I'm not even gonna give him the ESL pass because he was the dude next to me. He was speaking to, having a whole conversation. They were like, beep, boop, beep, boop. They looked like 2 40-year-old women bonding over the fact they hated their husbands. How in-depth this conversation was with the random man next to him. So I knew he understood what the fuck I was saying. So I was like, yo, I'm getting pissed. So then I downloaded for this flight and the flight back 4 seasons of Attack on Titan. And I was planning on watching that. Mostly on the flight back because on the way there I wanted to sleep, but the flight back I would have to be up for a longer amount of time. But you want to know what also pissed me off? This like shouldn't have pissed me off, but after everything else that this degenerate did. I was watching Attack on Titan. I got a thing to hold my phone, so I didn't have to do this, all right? And it was in front of me. This man would like, this was my phone, right? Okay, imagine this is my phone. He would like lean over into my seat to kind of look at what I was looking at like this, and just like was watching it. Keep in mind, I had no subtitles, and the motherfucker could not hear what the fuck was happening. Like, was that really that bad? No. But imagine you're watching something and you know someone is just like peering over your shoulder like this.
Spill all the tea, Queen.
Like, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, bro. You're gonna feel uncomfortable. Like, it's just weird. Like, why you all up in my shit, bro? Like, back the fuck up. Like, you don't know what the fuck's happening. I don't, like, I see you in my peripheral vision, and now you fucking up my enjoyment of the show because you're breathing down my neck, okay? I could feel your breath. Back the fuck up, okay? And I don't need to feel your breath after feeling your elbow, your leg, okay? Your shoulder, and smelling all of your BO. I don't need all that. Just give me one of the four, not all four, bitch. How you gonna check off every option of awful? I had to sit next to this man for 10 hours. I was losing it. I really was losing it. Like, I was actually losing it. Like, at one point, I really wanted to just like violently shake his seat when I got up to go pee to like wake his ass up. Cause he was sleeping so peacefully while also like falling into my seat and elbowing me like I wanted to be like, if I ain't sleeping, you ain't sleeping. Cause I ain't sleeping because of you. I ain't gonna sleep because y'all not gonna get no sleep because of me. That's what the fuck I wanted to do. I wanted to crash out on this airplane, okay? Then after I got through security, it was fine. But also I got beef with the UK, okay? Listen, this is not personal. How the f to go 15 miles in this bitch is it an hour and 40 minutes? 15 miles, my man? Anywhere else in America, you can go 15 miles and it's like 30 minutes max, bro. An hour and 40? You should have just taken the tube, Quinn. After riding 10 hours, I'm not figuring out how the metro works, okay? I'm tired, I'm Ubering, all right? Out of here. I'm not lugging my luggage on the train after getting no sleep next to this degenerate ass passenger on this goddamn flight. It was just pain, suffering, and misery. And that's all that was my first fucking day. Yeah, that guy on the plane.